Hi, it's Kevin. Welcome back to Relationship Ready. Thanks for coming. We really appreciate you being here. Today, we're going to talk about sex. We're going to talk about libido. We're going to define it. We're going to talk about what happens when there's a difference in libido levels between you and your partner. Sex is complicated. Libido is complicated. So let's get into it. Who is horny? Who's horny now? Who's hornier? And what causes that? Well, it's the stimulation of your chemicals. It's the things you're attracted to and you're triggered into. These are the positive triggers that you want to be triggered into. So let's define libido. Libido is sexual desire. The desire for intimacy through physical satisfaction, which can vary from person to person, from people who are asexual to people who are hypersexual. And can those two people be together? Certainly, as long as you use the tools to be able to negotiate relationship. And as long as you determine what are the most important priorities in the relationship. Libido can be affected by many factors: age, gender differences, mood, health issues, or just generally how healthy you are as a person. And identity is really important. How much of your identity is made up based on your sexual desires and your sexual fantasies, your sexual being as a person? And how comfortable are you in being a sexual being? Because sex is okay to discuss. It's important to talk about. It's important to be able to talk about with your partner. It's important to be aware enough of yourself, of what your desires, your fantasies, your libido level is, and how it varies. How hyped up do you get? How hypo do you get? How low do you go? And what helps you feel like you have a sexual health and a healthy sexual repertoire. So in your conversations, it is important to find out what your turn-ons are, what their turn-ons are, and what their turn-offs are. Because you can always tell what's going to happen next when you know what your turn-ons and your turn-offs are. Because if one of you is turned off and the other one's turned on, friction, fight. You might be fighting about dishes, you might be fighting about a car, you might be fighting about your friends, you might be fighting about your family. And there's a factor in there of what is turning you off and what is turning you on. But if you can identify what it is and be able to work through it one issue at a time, that's healthy sexual conversation. And that's healthy relationship conversation, because it's healthy intimate conversation. Because traditionally in genders, males are expected to have sex and then feel intimate. And females are expected to be intimate in order to have sex. But everybody varies, and genders vary. So there is no specific gender, and there's no specific formula for each person. But the important thing is to be able to identify what it is for you. What are your turn-ons? Do you like being spanked? Do you like healthy conversations? Do you like intellectual conversations as a sapiosexual? Do you like to be left alone and then you long for someone? What are the things you know you like? And then how does your health determine it? How much sleep do you need? What's your eating have to be? How much exercise and healthy do you need to feel in order to feel like, yes, I can do this? Some people, when they're lonely, they have the best sex. Some people, when they're hyped and revved, have the best sex. Some people, when they're most balanced, have the best sex. What are you? It's important for you to be able to figure that out. And then be able to share that with your partner so that you can gauge and then they can gauge what's your peak performance. And your peak performance isn't just physical. Your peak performance is emotional and spiritual and connected, because that's what helps you feel much more satisfied in your sexual relationship. And unbalance becomes balance if your libido kicks in effectively for each other. And that's what compromise and working together makes you work. Because if you're not feeling it tonight, then what is it that's in the way of you feeling it? Is it your mood? Is it because you work too hard? Is it because you're angry at your partner? What is it? And then solve those things to be able to move forward in your relationship and become more intimate again, both emotionally and physically, and then get more turned on, because then your libidos are going to get more matched. And if there are no turn-ons, and if you are more asexual, then your partner needs to respect that and figure out what it is that creates intimacy. Because it's not just physical, it's sharing of yourself, it's being vulnerable, it's doing activities that they long to do together. Maybe they get satisfaction out of going for a hike together with you. Maybe they get satisfaction out of going through a crisis or running into some weird person on the subway that you experience together and sharing that experience. Because satisfaction is what libido is about. Because libido goes up and down, but gets balanced through satisfaction. So what are the skills you need in order to balance your libido? You need acceptance of both yourself and your partner. You need negotiation skills to be able to talk to your partner about, this is what I like, this is what you like, how do we meet somewhere in the middle? Or can we do this time? And next time we can do this other thing for you, because last time we did this other thing for you, and I really like doing that. And it should not be a tit for tat thing, literally. It should be a smooth transition into, of course I want to do this for you, and of course you want to do this for me, because we are supporting each other and we're negotiating really effectively. The other skill you need, acceptance of who you really are. Knowing what your loves are, your kinks are, your highs, your lows, your turn-ons and your turn-offs. That's a skill also. So what did we talk about today? We talked about libido, and when libido is different in your relationship with your partner. We talked about the skills needed to be able to balance that libido in relationship, and truly how to accept each other in your sex, your libido, your emotional, and your spiritual life. So I hope this helps you be much more relationship ready. Come on back next time, and we'll see you. Please subscribe and like and share with others so other people can be satisfied too.